Welcome to this special show, The Safety Circuit, enhancing safety standards in modern logistics and supply chains. Don't you just love the taste of the salty sea breeze when driving down the Bangalore-Goa highway? Or the pride that you feel when cruising down the newest Atal Setu in Mumbai? But did you know that roads are amongst the biggest killers in India? In 2022, there were 28,000 murder cases that were registered. In the same year, more than 160,000 lives were lost on roads in accidents. With new highways and roads being constructed at the pace that they are, it's not quite possible to put all the blame on the quality of roads, is it? Then who's to blame? Is it the pedestrians? Is it the drivers? Does blame solve anything? Are there solutions to road safety in our country that can bring about a behavior change that lasts longer than just strapping on your seatbelt in response to a celebrity death in a road accident? Will greater enforcement do the trick? Could technology ingrain road safety as an enduring habit, just like brushing your teeth every day? Today, I'm joined by the doyens of the consumer goods industry, one which ships out millions of tons of cargo onto the roads to reach their customers. I'm going to try and find out if road safety is an important metric for the company and what they are doing to ensure safety as a priority. Please welcome our speakers for this discussion. Mr. Navdeep Singh Mehram, Vice President CSR and Sustainability, DIAGEO India. Mr. Balbir Bhalla, Transportation Hub Lead, SAR Region Nestle. Amit Kumar Mishra, National Logistics Head, Platis Global South Asia. Dr. Pramod Pandey, Global Head and Safety Engineering Leader, Corporate Philips. Cameli Pawar, General Manager, Safety, Health and Environment, South Asia, Supply Chains, Unilever. Mukesh Behra, Corporate Head, EHS, Britannia Industries. And Mr. Amit Kumar, Senior Director, Marketing, Netradyne. Thank you all for joining us. It's a pleasure to have all of you with us here. Now, first question that comes to my mind is safety now an issue or even a metrics for companies in the consumer goods space? I'd like to start with you, Navdeep ji. Is this an important issue, safety? Because you're interested in profits, you're interested in quality of your goods, you're interested in customer satisfaction. Is safety really important?
Absolutely. I think for industry, safety is one of the, let's say, big driving force, because what we're talking about is human lives and the human resource at the same time. All of that is very, very critical resource for any organization or any industry. So it is absolutely a very, very critical aspect, and it is not left to somebody to take care of. I mean, there is a board level risk committees in place. There are KPIs in place within the corporate kind of sector. But I would like to bring two dimensions, because I think those are very important for today's discussion, is that there are commitments and focus within the fence, and where all the industry players make maximum efforts, investments, resourcing, so that we are absolutely safe within the fence. The moment we step out of the fence and we are in a very, very heterogeneous road environment, and we know our country is very complex, large, huge, and there are multiple road users which probably do not follow the same discipline. Pedestrians, auto drivers, two-wheelers, cars, buses, trucks, and everybody is not in sync in terms of safety when we talk about outside the fence. So that brings the complexity on the table. But to simplify that, there are four elements which probably will have a binding together, where people can come together and start working on a shared goal or a shared commitment. First is on education and awareness, the first E of the four E's. I think that is where a lot of investment needs to go in, where you educate people why it is important. And it's not just about awareness, it's about behavior change also. The second element is on the engineering side of the road safety. There is a vehicle design, vehicle engineering, and then there is a road design and the road engineering. Both aspects also need to support the call to road safety, and I think we can discuss that in the coming discussion time. Third element, which is very, very critical but needs to be fixed in our country, is the enforcement. We do have very, very stringent laws. We do have very, very dedicated officials also, but I think there is something to be fixed on the enforcement also. And lastly, in case something goes wrong, the emergency response, the fourth E in the whole dimension which I want to put on the table. So yes, industry is committed, industry is making efforts, every life is important. All the commitments are in place, but yeah, I think there are things to be discussed and things to be fixed.
Right. Anil, I want to come to you. Now, Navdeep ji has given us a very broad overview on what can be done so that there is improvement in road safety, and what companies can do to change the whole environment. I'm still trying to understand what is the potential impact to a company. I understand, cybersecurity is a boardroom thing. But is this also a boardroom issue? Why? The why of road safety? I'm trying to understand. If you could give me something there, what happens? What's the potential impact to a company if something goes wrong with the cargo that they dispatch on the road?
In fact, when we started with safety, road safety, it is in-house, outside, both are the very vital for as a company whole. Because when we are talking about that, when cargo is going to produce and then is going to move to the vehicle, how we can ensure that it can follow the law of lands as well as our internal policies, because we are committed to the adhere the both the parts, because we are considering the as a human being as well as safety for the goods also. Both are the important, because that is cost to the companies. Here, when we are talking about the implementations parts, yes, company always take care that how we can ensure that when any supplier is coming in our premises, what are the policies they have to follow as per our requirement, so that we can save the person as well as goods. Like when the vehicle is approaching to the campus, we have to proper checklist, we have the proper that goods, how to loads, how to drivers are having the driving license, and their the vehicle fitness as well as their pollutions. All those are we are ensuring that it should be followed. And then when the driver are having the time, we are always giving the training parts also and briefing. It is not the full day training, it is like a briefing how we have to adhere the things when you are going on the road, document along with the documents, what are the things we have to ensure that, so that our goods should reach at the destination safely. So we have the regular meeting with the fleet owners as well as our briefing session on the everyday at our factory campus, so that we can ensure that as per our policies and as per the government's law, it should can be adhered.
Dr. Paul, I want to come to you on this. Now, Navdeep told us that within my fence, within my premises, I got control and I will ensure 1, 2, 3, 4. Anuji said, we're in the food industry. I have a strict adherence to what I need, 1, 2, 3, 4. Beyond your fence, what will you do? What would you like to say? Security is important to you, and why?
It's a good question, and I'm very connected to my heart, to be honest. What we are practicing in within company, we are starting each and every meeting with the safety. Because thumb rule is the jaan hai to jahan hai. If person are safe, they can produce and you can get desired outcome. If person are not feel safe, you cannot get the desired outcome. The most of the company I have seen when I visited other similar kind of industry as a best practices, what kind of things they are doing. Those people are saying safety is a priority. I am totally against that. Today priority is the safety, tomorrow will be quality, and third day priority will be cost. Safety will be core value of whatever you are doing business. It should be incorporate in the business. Whatever you are doing, it should be DNA of the company.
No matter the cost.
No matter the cost. Because if person is the safe, they can produce more and more desired result. The first I am starting with the safety, jaan hai jahan hai.
Mhm.
That I would like to emphasize.
Right.
Just to land the number, because we're talking about there is a board level attention to this. And there is a IIT Delhi study which says that it is a 3% erosion on national GDP because of all this road accidents and fatalities. And the industry operates in that same sphere. A boardroom will not accept 3% erosion on the P&L.
Yes.
Because we are not taking care of what we should be taking care of. So that's the importance of this aspect in terms of board level conversation.
Right. Cameli, I want to come to you. Now, we're talking about safety of your cargo when it leaves the premises. Here, the driver, the human factor is very important.
Yes.
And, this is a profession that is not it's not attracting talent. I was talking with everyone here. They're saying in a few years, we'll see a severe shortage of drivers. One, they are not very well trained because it is not very incentivized. It is not even socially reputable to be working as a driver. It is not, you're not on the rolls of a company. You don't get benefits. It's just as good as a day. Plus, life is hard. Long hours. You're driving when you're sleeping. So, what are companies doing to ensure that you work with fleet operators, but you want that the people they work with are motivated and also adhere to safety norms which are minimum for you. What are companies doing there?
So I'll come to what Unilever does. So for us, Unilever and HUL here in India, safety is non-negotiable. As Dr. Pramod rightly said, it's not a priority, it's non-negotiable. So coming to that, we have 6 pillars of safety, and that is specifically targeted to road safety. Yeah, and these are, I'll just give you context to that. So these are vehicle fitness, driver behavior on the job, journey risk assessment. There is collaboration and partnerships, and also post-accident care and trauma. So driver behavior forms a very critical part of this entire program, and how the drivers behave on road, we cannot control them. But yeah, we are getting telematics, we are getting into the digital space, the tech space to intervene the driver behavior. And one of the good things that has happened over the last few years in HUL, we have built driver management centers, which are known as DMCs in short. So DMCs are equipped with trainers who get the drivers trained, and they do the counseling basis the telematics input they get, the analysis they get of the drivers. Yeah, so if the driver is behaving rashly, so they would be counseling. Then there are specific interventions that is, very season specific. So there could be a monsoon campaign which is going on right now. There would be a fog campaign which will happen in the winter season. There's also a blind spot campaign. So entire calendar year is planned into these trainings, and that's how we show the drivers that we care. And once they know that we care and it is translating into actions, they are bound to get the behaviors corrected. Yeah, so I have been to many of the DMC center. I've personally spoken to the drivers, and they realize that driving safely is not just important for the organization but for them, because they're the bread earners in their families. Yeah, so it's very important for them also. And this is something which is not going to turn around overnight, because the behavior has been socio-culturally motivated and influenced. So that's going to take a long time. But yeah, we are on that journey, and I'm hopeful that with the government's intervention, these things will turn around in the next 5 to 6 years.
Right. Balbir, what has been your experience? Cameli saying we make a concerted effort on our part to sensitize them, to train them, to talk to them. Is that enough? Because once they're out of your fence, and all that drilling may not really work. Does technology help there?
So first of all, like any other organization, so safety is taken very seriously. In fact, we have a culture where every meeting starts with safety every second. Whether it is sales meeting, whether it is supply chain meeting. So it is all the more important that it should be cascaded to all the levels. And secondly, when it comes to technology, it plays a very vital role, because today organization of our stature, we have enormous volumes, and so is the case with other food industry. So it is all the more important that we capture all the data points, and it is not possible if you have to do it humanly. So today, what is happening in our organization, any vehicle which is entering our premises, everything is digitalized. So what my co-speaker said, that it is while during entry at the gate. So all these events are triggered, and it is very important to capture all this data, because what happens if you don't have those data points, you will not be able to communicate effectively with the service providers. You will not be able to communicate effectively with the workforce, and especially with drivers, because they need continuous training.
What are these data points exactly?
The data points is like fitness of the vehicle, registration, whether it is a valid registration or not. So in India, we all know that aging of the vehicle is very, very important, because it not only have a safety parameters, but at the same time, your fuel economy, all those things are extremely, extremely important.
But the truck is not yours. The driver is not your employee. Why are you tracking all of this?
See, every organization has a mission, that we need to reduce carbon emission. We have to improve safety. So all these parameters are extremely, extremely important, because we are committed to society. We have to reduce carbon emissions. We have to improve well-being of the drivers. And all our distribution centers, they are equipped with driver restroom. So it is mandatory for every driver, whosoever comes from the long haul shipments, they will take rest, because conditions on the road are not very conducive. So what we have to play our part. So how do we play our part is that we provide enough rest to them. And not only that, there is a personalized training for every driver, whosoever is entering our premises, because most of the times what we have seen, when they are in group, they don't pay attention. So this personalized training in terms of safety costs is very, very important, because unless he don't get that certificate, and that certificate is valid for 6 months. So again, there will be a refresher training. So what I'm trying to say is that you need to continuously educate them.
I have a adding this point, because as you asked the question why we are checking. It is important. It is a two-way communication. It is not that we are only taking care for the safety part, but also ensuring for the societies. Because if I am checking the driver license, whether that person is actually eligible to drive the vehicle, the fitness, vehicle is eligible to carry the goods, and the other that this pollution, as per the government norm, it is emission is controlled. So there are the many parameters. One side we are saying that I am ensuring my goods should be safe, as well as human being. For both part, that company taking as a responsibility to ensure when my supplier is sending any vehicle, it should be follow the norms. Therefore, it is important to check balance at our end.
Right. Mukesh, could you talk to us about the usage of technology, say by your fleet partners? How have they been sensitized to do this? What, because so far we have seen your technology brings in efficiency, coming in scale, and help to save a cost. How has it helped your partners here? How has it helped you? How is technology working for you when it comes to ensure safety of your products, of the drivers, of the fleet?
We started a program called Sajak Chalak, which is basically first start with the driver's aspect. Every driver is at the gate. There's security help them to welcoming them first, asking them about their well-being, taking them to the restroom, advising them to take rest. There are certain arrangements for them which they can take and rest. The lunch and dinner, and after that we use technology to train them. Now, this technology is not only in terms of the awareness. We have developed this program in training and awareness together. So, in awareness, what we do is a one-way communication, whereas in training, we expect certain outcome from the driver, certain support from the drivers. Drivers do give inputs from their sides. What are the problems they face? And as one of our HUL team told about the journey risk management, right? JRM. Now, in certain routes, we had done using technology, the journey risk management. We know which are the area where they need to pass through, which are the areas critical for their operation, where the restrooms are there, where the food and basic amenities they can get it, and all through route we know the frequent travelers, and we also use this the program called distracted driving, which is basically AI tool with camera. the drivers are being observed in that way. And in case the drivers are distracting, we are getting alert. And same times we are communicating to the drivers as well that look, you are distracting. We also monitored the working hours of drivers. Once the driver boards the vehicle, after that his attendance starts on the seat. And if the driver is beyond 12 hours in the seat, irrespective of his rest and all, including all, we come to know that the driver is beyond 12 hours and he will not be allowed to drive. So that is how we are using the technology for the drivers. However, yes, it's again, it's my personal assessment in the entire field that drivers, at least the truck drivers, are the most people, at least in India, they follow the road safety guidelines maximum. None of us, probably including all the drivers, be it two-wheelers, auto drivers, nobody follow the safety requirement other than the truck drivers. That's I believe the most respectful people in the road are the truck drivers.
Rule abiding as well. Maybe
Yes,
it's the weight of the entire cargo that they have to transport on time that makes them act responsibly. But Amit, there is this belief that, oh no, they're rash. Truck drivers are rash. They drive drunk, and they're most interested in covering the route as quickly as possible. So they don't pay heed to all of this. It sounds good, but it's not what happens in reality. What have you seen? You're a technology provider. You have been tracking drivers of who are in various different fleets. What have you seen? And what has that told you about the industry? Are they now interested in influencing driver behavior? How accepting are drivers of, adoption of technology? What have you seen over the last few years?
So first of all, I'm really overwhelmed to notice that the industry is recognizing the impact and the contributions of the drivers. I think they are the pillars of any economy for the matter. And if companies are coming forward and really thinking about their welfare, their well-being, I think we are on the right track. Now, when it comes to deployment of technologies, there are certain ways. While we are training the drivers, we still have to accept the fact that they are also humans. How many times that has happened with us? We are working in our AC office and have not touched the phone for an hour. Does it happen?
No, it doesn't happen. They're also human, and they will also make
They're
those.
also human. They're away from family, and many a times they're driving all by themselves. There is no one with them on the very good highway, good speed. They can get distracted. It is natural. Education is just one part of it. Being aware about what is right, what is wrong. The phone beeps, WhatsApp or whatever, I can get distracted. I see hoardings on the road, I can get distracted. Highway hypnosis, another factor which is totally outside of your control.
What is highway hypnosis?
Highway hypnosis is when you're driving on a highway on a certain speed, because there is no junction, it's a consistent speed you're driving at. You get into a zone, you don't realize that you're kind of disconnected from the system. Right? It's called highway hypnosis. Kind of drowsiness, but not completely, because you're not slept, but you're just disconnected from the road. And you will not realize it. Now, what can technology do in that case? And that's where we have to leverage in some of the new age technologies to ensure that there is a companion who's totally unbiased. Right? So what we see is we have an IoT device which is placed in the vehicle, inside the cabin, and now it works as a companion of the driver, which does not get tired, which does not get distracted because it does not have a phone or anything. It can notice the entire environment of the road ecosystem, whether
How?
Is
it a camera? This device is camera?
It's a smart dash cam.
Okay.
Smart dash cam which can read and detect all kind of external factors, whether those are vehicles on the road, animals, pedestrians, other vehicles, and their speed. The other side, it can look at the driver itself, who cannot see himself, whether I'm drowsy, I'm tired, whether I've buckled up my seatbelt properly and on top of my body, or behind the back, just to avoid some penalties. All this can be read by the technology. And in case of any probable violation, it can alert the driver real time. It can coach the driver. And what we have seen is eventually when it keeps on alerting you for something again and again, you tend to have your behavior changed. And once the behavior changes, that's when the real impact happens, right? Now, this is with the driver. Now, you can always set the severities of those violations, and can have your safety team centrally
Alerted for the same.
alerted for the same, and they can take a corrective action. End of the month, if you've got 1,000 fleets, you know that how many drivers are doing good, how many drivers are violating the rules regularly, maybe because of lack of education, maybe because of their behavior, and then push them further. So across the industry, there is a good impact, and we see a lot of adopters of such technologies are reporting a reduction of 50% in accidents.
Okay. Balbiji, you also said that your training gets customized to the driver. Does technology play a role here? I mean, all this data that is being collected, I mean, does it tell you that certain stretches, certain drivers will behave like this? So then you counsel them कि उस time पे ना ऐसे नहीं करना है, आपको rest देना है, क्या करना है? How is technology helping you give customized solutions or advice to the drivers?
See, first of all, we need to understand that all the driver behaviors, firstly, they should get recorded. What kind of distractions they are having. And in this forum, one thing which just came to me is that every organization is doing journey risk assessment, and there are certain routes. Why we are not sharing publicly? It's a good idea, because technology is helping us in deciding that these are the zones where journey risk assessment has been executed. Okay, be it case of HUL, be it case of Nestle, or be it case of Philips. So first of all, we need to share this data, and then these data become all the more important, because what we are going to communicate that on this route, maybe your speed limit should be this, or there are blind curves. So technology is one thing, but at the same time, once it is about shared data, it will make all the more impact. Because today what is happening in our industry, captive fleet is very limited.
Okay.
So all the vendors are associated in a way with every
everybody.
organization. So what we need to do is we need to educate this ecosystem that, look, we have captured this data, and now what is that we need to do about this data? Journey risk assessment is one thing, and then about driver behaviors, why they are doing this thing. Because today everyone is recording this, that they have distracted, but we need to get to the root cause why they are getting distracted. Because moment you will get into 5 whys, why he's doing this, why is he facing, whether his well-being is taken care of or not. So that is all the more important. Now, when it comes to technology definitely plays an important role. That will give you the alerts. But what after that? What I'm going to do with this alerts is all the more important, because you have to close the loop. One is that you have identified that this was the lacuna in this whole journey, but what I'm doing about it, that's very important, and you need to close the loop. Unless we don't close the loop, that means it will get repetitive. So that's not the idea. Idea here is whatsoever you have discovered in this journey, that should get addressed.
All right. Cameli, want to come to you on this. As you're getting more data, thanks to all the technology that you've adopted, or your fleet partners are adopting, are you able to fine-tune your trainings, your reactions, your counseling? Are you able to customize what you're able to, say to the ecosystem, the driver ecosystem?
Yes.
Thus, what Balbi spoke about, having data which is shared, so that you don't have captives, but at least everybody knows these are problem areas. This is this highway has this problem. Perhaps at this point on a highway we need a restroom, or we need a restaurant facility for the drivers. So, have you seen that more data is able to help you do this, refine what you can do with the drivers because you have more data?
Yes, absolutely. So as I said earlier, we have the telematics, and also we have Netradyne's, support, and along with Geo. So we have those ADAS facilities in our shuttle bus and also our company vehicles, which are dedicated, And in the trucks, we have telematics. So these give us specific driver behaviors. and what are they doing and what are the timelines that they're prone to. Maybe night driving is something that we need to address, and which, as you know, HUL as an organization has done that, imposed a ban on night driving from 12 to 4. Yeah, so that is mandatorily done, and that is something that we are tracking through this analytics. And also driver behavior, as you rightly said. So some drivers are more prone to over speeding or engaging in road rage. Yeah, so how do we target those drivers? And also to back that up, we have the DDT scores, which is the defensive driving training scores. So yeah, so these also help us identify and assess which are the high risk categories of drivers and who are little on the stabler side. So we tend to focus more on the people who are on the other side of the fence. Yeah, and the beauty of the dash cam is that it not just tells the behavior of the member of public, it also tells you the path the vehicle is taking, the route it's taking. Yeah, the driver's route is taking. So you have an inventory of the routes. Yeah, and then we are working with our partners, Netradyne being one of them. So we are working with them how we can digitize this route risk assessment through the dashcam inventory that is getting stored. And obviously, as Mr. Balbir has said rightly, so we can definitely collaborate on the route risk, because Mr. Nitin Gadkari has also initiated something called as CARTS last year, and that is to target 100 high risk highways and high risk districts, zero fatality corridors, zero fatality districts. So that data is available somewhere, but it is not available to the industry as such. If I want to go and look for data, I'll have to look it through some bits and parts. But if we as an industry collaborate together, we get onto the same platform, do the risk assessment together, because it's a shared exercise and it's a shared ecosystem. So definitely we all can gain from each other.
In your assessment, she's got data, he's got data, but they're not talking to each other.
Yeah, so I think
will the government do this? Industry body do this? You and I will get together, drinks and do this. How will it happen?
Well, I think it's an interesting black box paradox. Every plane has its own data, but they are not sharing what happened upstairs. So the answer obviously is suggested very well is the collaboration by the industry, whose black box has that magic. But I think we are missing the other important stakeholders, because you will interpret the data, find out the sweet spots, hot spots, and you will fix in-house.
Yeah.
But the problem again lies outside the fence. You have to involve National Highway Authority. You have to involve State Road, who owns the state highways. You have to involve Traffic Police, who does their own engineering on top of the road authority's engineering. They build some structure based on certain science and technology, but here is this traffic police official who wants to divert everything to somewhere else. So you need to involve other stakeholders who also are key contributor to all these problems which these data banks are collecting. But if you just make selective decision on selective aspects, which is in-house, and do not involve, I mean, Mr. Gadkari also started talking about 5,800 black spots in this country. And black spot is something where regular repeated accidents happen. So there are black spots, there are blind spots, all of that data is there. I don't know which platform will be able to help it.
I'm going
but
to ask
yes,
you.
Morth is absolutely, I was saying Morth is the glue where it can go and stick.
Okay. Pramod?
Can I add a point?
Yeah.
On industry collaboration, it's a beautiful point. And another use case that came to my mind just now, as Mr. Balbir was talking about, all of us have got resumes. We're in the corporate world, right? When we are getting interviewed for a new job, what we give is a resume first thing, right? But when it comes to drivers, what is that resume?
So she spoke about score, the
DDT, defensive driving training.
So what is this score? I mean, you just go ahead and I'm going to ask her about that.
All right. Yeah. So I'm coming to that. In fact, Cameli. Now we have got transport partners with us, because we do not own fleet, we outsource it, and we rely purely on them that what kind of drivers they are hiring, right? And since it's a scarcity, they end up hiring anyone who's available at that point.
First come, first serve.
First come, first serve, right? In fact, there's a scarcity, right? There's a driving scoring mechanism which is available, right, in the market. which is actually a resume of our driver, that how good or bad the driver is. If the driver shows good behavior on the road, he gets positive points. I just imagine a world where these driving scores are available to all of us, and then we can see, hey, Mr. Transporter, show me the driving score of your drivers, and then if your drivers have got good score, let's work together, because I care about safety, I care about the people who work with me, and if they themselves are not responsible, I probably may not have the right engagement.
Whenever we are talking about the score, it is like a review. When you are going on Amazon, we are going on the Uber, you always see the what is their reviews.
How many stars?
Yeah, how many stars. You get the confidence over there.
Without having tried the
गाड़ी
product.
आपके टाइम पे आ जाएगी. We will reach safely. So both the things are factors, and it gives them more confidence to the as a company also, that who is going to drive our crores of material, they are the good driver, and they will ensure that we should not have the cost to the company, because every insurance is the cost to the company, and we can avoid those things with the scores.
But Bichi, you really think this will work? A scoring system. Here the driver is not trained. First come, first serve. Helper became driver. Do you think, is this a legitimate way of ranking, scoring people, and then fleet operators, oh, I want to go for a good driver only because, I want a short business. Is this really going to work?
Yes, it's definitely going to work. And recently I have visited one of the vendors' big workshop. So alerts were given to this driver of unsafe behavior. So what they did was that they mandated training for him, that he has to undergo thrice that training.
And that became customized.
That became customized. And not only that, they called their family. They called their family that your son or your father is not driving safely. And then they ensured daughter speaks to that person, to father, that why are you doing this? So the moment you build this emotional connect, it makes all the more impact. So technology is important, but what I keep on saying, and I'm harping on that, we have to close the loop, because unless that loop is not closed, technology can give you all the alerts. And okay, now technology should be two-dimensional. One is that about the safe behavior. At the same time, how am I going to optimize my vehicle or asset? Because that's a cost to the company. Because in a way, it is built in the freight. So I have to utilize my asset to the fullest, keeping all the safety norms, like what Cameli shared, that they have a policy where there is no night driving. Similarly, we do have a policy, because maximum time, if you look at the accident, that happens between 11 to 4. So we made it mandatory that 11 to 4, we are not going.
Time.
Yeah. So driving, no night driving. So once we have these data points, like HUL shared, I'm sharing, and if all of the industry come together and take this decision, there should not be any night driving, we will definitely make an impact.
All right.
So we all have to come forward.
I just have a point on the rating. So it's a very simple thing, like you have the rating for your Uber drivers, So nobody would have thought that, Uber drivers could be rated, but it's there and people are looking at the ratings, not just the drivers, even the passengers. Somebody might look at a low score and reject the passenger. So it works both ways,
But I only look at the time, waiting time. I really don't see the rating.
I just need to close the loop. I think we all have probably noticed that there is a recent policy enabler that is announced that from 1st of July, we are in the month of July, private companies can actually take up RTOs and start taking tests of the new driving license process. That's a new regulation by the ministry. So there is an opportunity for at least fleet owners to get into the real licensing process itself. So it's open. It's no more only government will issue it. It's open for private sector to take it up. And the star ratings can actually happen there itself. Very legit, third party, independent, verified. It's not fudged record. So that is an opportunity to close the loop.
Most of the times we are complaining government is not taking any initiative. Nobody knows the kind of initiative government took 3 years back, how they have been able to reduce number of trips on the road is by implementing simple thing. All these 15-tonner vehicles, they had a max payload. They can go only to 15 tons. They increased the payload to 18 tons. So that was the first phase. And the second phase was volumetrically, because earlier all the vehicles were having height of 32 into 8 into 8. So they have increased the height. Now they can go up to 10.5. Now with the implementation of this, because there are certain SKUs for us, there are certain SKUs for PepsiCo, which is very volumetric in nature, 15% efficiency has come in India. 15% efficiency, which means there is less road movement and people are safe. So
But
most
your
of the times we are
transporting
complaining.
has many more goods.
Yes. So most of the times we are complaining, but at the same time, we need to appreciate these efforts, because see, we are dealing with two things. One is driver and other is vehicle. And then there is a government body. I agree that there should be stringent enforcement, regulations, but look at the magnitude we are operating with. So we really need to appreciate government about this. And today, Mr. Nitin Gadkari, he's all ears. Any idea, if you come forward, he said, okay, why not? We should implement that.
All right. Amit, I wanted to take up on that technology sharing point. And if the government has its data available, can technology players like yours either collaborate with the government or use this data to offer solutions to the industry that will be beneficial for them?
I think the use cases are plenty. And I'm sure, providers like us who have got this kind of ecosystem would be happy to collaborate with government, because one part is the drivers, you're able to recognize them, pay them well. But at the same time, if you can integrate this, let's say with intelligent transport system, right? Any kind of accident happens, the ITS can inform the entire ecosystem when there's an accident happened. The healthcare will get informed automatically, right? You integrate with your regional transport, your license renewals, can be handled very efficiently, because while in the training environment, the driver has performed so well, but on the road, how does he or she performs, right? You have that data, whether I should renew their license or not. I can take a call, right? So the use cases are plenty, and I think the wider collaboration between industry, tech providers, and government can make a humongous difference.
Right. So there is technology is playing a role. You're getting the alerts if the driver is drowsy or distracted. Navdeep, the issue is also about loneliness and drunken driving with truck drivers. So do you run campaigns with drivers to sensitize them that there's a time and place for everything? How receptive are they on all this?
Yeah, absolutely. I think DIAGEO globally as well as in India, we've been working on awareness programs on hashtag never drink and drive. A lot of effort has gone into the last 5 years in reaching out to these people. More from a awareness generation perspective, engagement perspective. But then we actually taken another route to reach the RTO centers. We created a very engaging, interactive training and awareness module, which is a digital module available in Hindi, English, and 7 Marathi, Kannada, different Indian languages. We have set up the tab labs, which is about 10 tablets, where every license seeker that will come to that particular RTO office will go through window 1, window 2 to check the documents, get the eyesight check. Then there is our tab lab. It's a compulsory training program in the checklist in that RTO. And that basically is, there is a protagonist in that training program who says, this is what I did. I was foolish. I went on the wrong path. I met with an accident. And then it will pause. It will throw options. What would you do? Okay. Would you like to listen more, or what would you do? So every 3 minutes, there is a story, and then you are engaging them. We've seen huge change, especially the government officials. They were very happy that they've been preaching, don't drink and drive, don't drink and drive. Here we are giving them a real life experience.
Gamified it.
Yes.
You got them involved because their responses were being asked for.
Yes, and we track pre and post on that whole training program. Almost more than 80% behavior change is noticed. Now, that is a behavior change in that tablet center. What happens is another story which we need to look at. But yeah, So far, 35 RTOs, and not Bombay, Bangalore, Kolkata, or Delhi. They are Hyderabad, Roorkee, they are Bhopal, Nagpur, Nasik, all B towns. They are over there. I just closed my number. More than 750,000 people in these 35 RTOs have undergone our training module. And this simulation is not developed in India. So we have global partnership with UNITA, United Nations Training Institute. They created this behavior change kind of a module for us globally. It's been implemented in almost 80 markets globally by DIAGEO.
It works in India?
It works absolutely in India. In fact, we are the champion implementing this program because obviously the sheer number of license seeker every day.
Okay.
So yeah.
All right. Very heartening to know that what works globally in a very heterogeneous environment of India works in India as well.
In addition to that, just one part on, because we're talking about drunk driving, I think there is another aspect of enforcement, and there's one missing link is breath analyzer.
Yes, I was about to say that.
Yeah. So when we actually try to, politely ask the traffic police departments in various states that, by the way, we all have very, very smart phones, but do we have a smart device which can actually detect this? And the answer was not very promising.
Okay.
So we did look into a solution. We partnered with UP, Punjab, Telangana. There is a device which is about 40,000 rupees, one breath analyzer. Almost 200 of those devices we have already donated to these traffic police officials. So on one hand, awareness, but you also need to ensure
enforcement.
that enforcement is also intact.
But which you want to come in?
See, I'm a person who believes in both brilliant at basics and then technology. So firstly, it's mandatory, any vehicle which is coming to our distribution center or factory, that driver undergoes breath analyzer test. Now that is one part. You have addressed that. But what is that when he's going out? Then definitely this will come into play, because that's the larger problem. And if we all come forward and do these kind of initiatives, yes, we will definitely create an impact.
All right. Pramod, I wanted to come to you on this, whole discussion about what works globally and can it be implemented in India. So Navdeep has had, they are seeing success with this drunken driving awareness, etc. What do you think can work? Globally, you see this work when it comes to road safety. What can be replicated in India? Because Cameli also spoke about, no night driving. Abroad there may be a standard, no more driving beyond 8 hours, whatever, morning, night, whatever. What do you think can be implemented with good success in India, which has had global success?
Thanks for a very good question. First and foremost important thing is the proactive risk-based approach. Because each and everything we have to work on the planning part. So if we are talking about proactive risk-based approach, they have to identify, already we have a government working on that, what is the hotspot, what is the pinpoint where we have to work. And based on when the identification is the one part, but what are the control measures they are going to adopt? We are in safety profession and we are adopting always hierarchy of control. Is this particular risk eliminated? If eliminated, eliminate. If not, then come to second part. Second part is the substitute. Any alternative solution are there? Work on that particular aspect. If not is there, third aspect is the engineering control, and that is more effective. Just think about technology perspective. If things add value. And the fourth one is the administrative control, in that like lane discipline, signages, training, coaching, that kind of stuff will come. And last one is the personal protective equipment. Again, and those are the based on the risk-based approach, prioritize on the based on the appetite of the organization, appetite of the industry.
And maybe even mandates. If there is a government mandate, then you got to follow it, right?
They have to work. I completely agree. But again, because if they are going to attack on the low-hanging fruits, it's easy to fix, and also win-win situation for the particular region and government. Because data, another part which I am going to highlight, we are fatality numbers are statistics, we know. But bottom of the pyramid, because we have to attack on the near misses, unsafe act, unsafe condition. Because any fatality happen, before that so many near misses, unsafe act, unsafe condition, giving indication. And after that, one fatality happening. So more and more important is the attack on the bottom of the pyramid, unsafe act, unsafe condition, near misses. And all three important elements if we are going to attack.
Coming back to Pramod's point, so what he said was the bottom of the pyramid. So we have a terminology for that. That's called mind the diamond. Okay, so a pyramid is something which is heavy at the bottom and narrow at the top, but the diamond is just the reverse. You have
Narrow on top, narrow on bottom,
it
wide on
is
the
wider
middle.
at the top, but it narrows down at the bottom at one single point. So that single point could be the trigger of multiple fatalities or multiple incidents at the top. And that, that's where our intervention as an organization comes in, where the drivers or the users feel safe to speak up that there was a near miss. Even though the accident would not have happened, but again, a brush happened. My mirror got damaged. I was parking, reversing, and then I was about to hit a vehicle, but it didn't happen. So it helps us also go the next step and put the preventive analytics or, the preventive mechanisms in place so that we prevent future incidences from happening.
Would you like to add to this whole concept of mind the diamond? How does it really work in real life?
Yeah, it is
I
quite
just
similar.
want to know, why would you have to have a human intervention come and say, I had a near miss? If you're using technology, you would already know, right? Do you need that, or just builds the confidence?
We cannot leave everything to the technology, because technology is nothing but it's most of the time
Enabler, basically.
It's enabler. It's quality in, quality out. At the same time, you should be very clear about your input variables. Otherwise, it's garbage in, garbage out. Firstly, what Cameli shared is that we have a similar model where we promote BBS. We call it behavior-based safety. So it is essential, and it is mandatory for every employee of our organization, whether it is in our distribution centers, whether it is in our factories, or whether it is in head office. If you see any unsafe behavior, please talk about that.
Okay.
Because all these unsafe behaviors will ultimately make sure that you don't have fatality on the top. Because if it is addressed there itself. Now, when it comes to technology, so you should be clear what input variables you are going to give. Because like Netradyne, they have an expertise in this. Because most of the time, we are the users. If we don't talk about, if we don't share those inputs, how are they going to understand?
How will they improve on what they're offering?
Yes. And in 2021, when we started with Netradyne, so it was altogether new, AI. And even I was curious, what is this AI all about? Yeah. But once we saw that, and then we added on to that we don't want to restrict ourselves to these distractions. In fact, we have to add on these distractions. So this is how you improve, and this is how technology improvises.
All right.
Can I just quick use case not from the business side, from the other side? We worked with Dr. Kiran Bedi, who was Lieutenant Governor in Pondicherry 20 years ago. And she basically asked us to develop an app to register the forensic FIR of any accident that happens in Pondicherry. And it's a small place. And the response time she fixed with you know how strict she is. So she set up a road safety cell with a quick response team with those devices. Any accident that will happen, it will capture many aspects forensically. And it went on for 6 months. The data was analyzed. Many things she was able to fix herself. During her meetings, every weekly meeting, she will analyze FIRs and she will fix things. Near misses, blind spots, black spots, traffic diversion, route clearing, helmets, seat belts. So many things came out of that FIR analysis because it happened right when the accident happened. And because it was her instruction, nothing will move. The vehicles will stay the way they are. Who has hit whose paint has gone into which vehicle, whether it is the truck's paint on the bike or the bike's paint on the thing. Many aspects were put into that, and we actually achieved the accident rate and the fatality rate coming down in that small union territory, obviously under her guidance.
That's a great success. Mukesh, how important is the human element here? Like, you've all spoken about respect for the drivers, educating the driver, training the driver, rewarding the driver. In isolation, can technology get better unless the human element also improves?
When you talk about the human elements, we have been a witness certain cases. For example, managers or the supervisor who is looking at this job.
Hmm.
If the supervisor or the manager is not acting on the
Feedback.
feedback
Hmm.
or the data which came from the technology, it is completely useless. Certain cases we also notice that the system is giving pop-up to his system, but he is not able to react. Obviously, the human element is going to be too important. That's what we did. We incorporated human element at both the levels. We also given this human element aspect to the transporter level. When it is coming to the organization, same time transporter also. So we are partnering both with the transporter with the organization. When transporter can also help in terms of getting this technology to be used, practiced, and getting results from that to the drivers.
See, technology is very, very important. And in a way, we all have to embrace, because today is, I'll give you an example, and which is relevant for every industry, is that the biggest pain area for any service provider or for any organization is once e-way bill is not renewed. So the kind of penalty that is enormous. It goes from 2 lakh to 10 lakh rupee.
Okay.
Okay. Now there is a technology which auto renews it. You don't have to do anything. Now all these transporters or service providers, they are bound to take this technology.
It saves them money.
Yes, it saves them money, and so is the case with safety, because one accident is too many. One is that his vehicle is not getting utilized. If his vehicle is not getting utilized for, let us say, 15 days, because
Loss.
yeah, it's
No
a
money.
loss. So they have to adapt to technology. But again, technology plays an important role, but we have to act on it.
Okay, so I'm going to start taking a few closing comments, and I'll start with you, Mukesh. Now, there is one, everybody agrees, technology helps, along with the human intervention to close the loop. Beyond this, because we are looking at a gap coming in, a shortage of drivers, what can be done so that this applicability increases? Because our country is growing, we'll have more trucks, we'll have more cargo being moved, and if we don't have the personnel, then no technology is going to help us. So how are we going to try to bridge this gap? You're giving respect, you're giving rewards, you're giving recognition. Will that motivate more people to become drivers? Now that they know we are safer, we will get the respect.
I think not true, because although we as an organization we are a certain pool of drivers, right? The gap is we need another pool of drivers. Now the drivers, obviously it's not lucrative, and they are not coming. The new generation is not coming for this profession. It will require lots of participation, engagement at the village levels, or the people who can join this thing. There are certain programs where the good OEM also now driving. They are training the fresh pools, and with the training of pools, they're also ensuring their social well-being, their welfare, their medical requirements, their family requirements, ESI, PF, then all other benefits, including party to sort of employment to the organization. That is the one option which can be worked, but it is not the only solution. We need to think for other solutions.
On that, Anil, your closing comments. In the future, how do you see this industry addressing security? And does it, if it's safer, is it better? For you as an industry player, for people who use the roads, how do you see the future panning out because of technology?
Technology is not as a whole. It is like a enabler. It can help at certain level. But as when we are talking about the safety, definitely human play a crucial role, because as my colleague rightly said, that we have to take care of them. Then it can be go for the future's long life. Otherwise, it can't be help to the current, because as earlier we have already discussed that it is required the more intervention from the governments, private players, and everyone can come jointly, then it can be possible.
Well, Pete, what would you like to say in your closing comments?
Sure. So first of all, there is a study done by McKinsey in India. 35% of the time vehicles are idle. They wait for the load. Now, what is happening? All these big players, they do not struggle for this, but all these small truck operators who's having 1 or 2, they have to wait for as high as 7 to 8 days.
There's no Uber for small players?
No, so there are no such platforms. But I'm very hopeful because India is a hub of technology. Technology everyone is embracing, and all these platforms is definitely going to help us. But the basic premise is that we have to take care of well-beings of the driver. So first of all, we have to respect the profession they are into, because it's a very difficult profession. Most of the times what we have seen is that days and days they are away from their family. What they demand is simple thing is respect. And as an organization, what we have to do is we have to inculcate this culture where every driver should be given that respect. Because today we all need to understand they are the vital part of our economic growth.
All right, I'm going to come to you a little later, Amit, but want to come to you, Navdeep. Behavioral change plus technology, how does that impact road safety in the near future? How do you see it play out for companies with P&L interests, with people who want safer lives? How do you see it playing out in the future?
So I see that all coming together. As I said, I have a very positive outlook, and we all are contributing to the call on Viksit Bharat 2047. So all these things has to fall in place in a right place where they should be. At the same time, we all are committed to globally as well as in India to SDG 3.6. So there's a lot happening around that also. And I see all of that coming together and delivering what we are actually wishing, that roads are safer, people are safe, families are not losing their bread earners, especially in India. That's the most promising age group which we are losing, looking at the Indian demographic.
This is seen in the low and middle income countries, that road accidents impact the youth the most.
The most productive age is what we lose on that particular incident. So I think I see everything positive from that dimension.
All right. Pramod, in your closing comments, could you also dwell upon things like emergency response, which Cameli and Navdeep have also touched upon? As part of the safety program, road safety program, how important is it to have an infrastructure of emergency response, maybe air helicopter, medical helicopter? Who will put this into place? Can you leave it to the government? How does it work?
Things are improving. I'm very optimistic about. I can see 5 years later. Earlier was the infrastructure and that kind of support very difficult to get if something will happen, especially in the road accident. Now things are improving significantly, and I have seen in many places, like some of the states, they are doing very good. One call, police and ambulance both are coming, and they are providing the proactively support, medical as well, and sometimes if any cases, the police.
How are they getting alerted in real time? How are they getting alerted for this?
So now again, this is another room for improvement. How to integrate with the technology?
Yeah, because you are tracking, it has happened, but does it alert the the medical and the law enforcement agency as well? Does it work like that?
Yes. So today in track and trace, there is a facility called panic button.
Okay.
If you press that panic button, so call goes to your service provider as well as to the nearest
police station.
Yes.
All right.
We are also using some kind of one of the panic button is there. If any employee traveling, they can call in the panic button. Immediately notification will go to immediate manager, same time the respective government.
All right. So that's also one aspect that can really help towards road safety. Cameli, we've spoken about industry collaborations, especially since we are generating so much data and you want the technology to get better with more data. AI kicks in, you get better solutions. How can that happen? In your closing comments, would you like to gaze and tell us how can this industry collaboration happen?
So I think industry collaboration, we struggle to look for data. Why is that happening? So there is no specific body, like there is CII, there is FICCI, there is nothing specific for road safety as far as I know of. So this is something that maybe we as a collective need to associate, start. So just, some years back there was EPR rule which came in, which is the extended producer responsibility. That time when the rule was imposed, it was, haywire sort of a situation. Nobody knew where to go, but then industry collaborated. They got together. There were associations formed. So this is a journey. I think now that we realize that, truck drivers are very important. It's not just for the industry, not for the logistics, for the entire economy. If you remember the truck drivers strike when it happens, the entire, country comes to a standstill.
Yes.
So
and price hikes are across the board.
It's that important. So we need to have a body, I don't know where it would start, but, there definitely has to be a start where we can partner equally with the government, with the MORTH, and now with Mr. Gadkari ji being, at the helm of affairs with so much, proactive measures happening. So I think this is the right space and time where we get jointly together maybe, and these sort of forums definitely help, because now I know what Nestle is doing, what DIAGEO is doing, what Philips is doing, what Britannia is doing, what everybody else is doing. Otherwise, I would be thinking that what I'm doing is the best. There's nothing else that can be done more. But now I know that there are more things that can be done, and we can definitely collaborate. And because this is a shared space, and a very fragmented industry. So this is the right time to get people together.
All right. So, we're at a stage, Amit, that our country is growing and growing fast. And when you want to grow, we want to do the right things. How do you see technology helping us here when it comes to road safety?
I mean, first of all, doing business in current scenario is not easy despite of all these sentiments. There are economic pressures, there are political pressures, war happening here and there. Customers are becoming very demanding. But what's really overwhelming is that, all the corporates, all the responsible citizens, are coming forward and exploring, okay, what can I do, right, to contribute to the bigger cause? What can I do to make my system, more robust and more automated? And the only solution is technology, right? Humans have got capabilities, limitation. But technology is something which can enable us. Way back during our college days or school days, doing a calculation would take ages, but then the calculator came in and the computer came in. So things have eased out. That did not take anyone's job. It has just helped us to become more productive
and efficient.
So in the space of road safety, Mr. Navdeep spoke about 4 E's, and I see education and enforcement. These two will be the major pillars where technology will play a huge role. I would like to share that India has got about 80,000 traffic cops, 80, less than lakh.
And for a country as big as ours?
As big as ours, which has got 63 lakh kilometers of the road infrastructure, 63 lakh.
So they have to do more with whatever they have.
Exactly. So the only way out is technology. You cannot have 80 lakh, traffic cops on the road. So technology is sitting inside the vehicle, analyzing real time, having a real view, okay, what happened, right? Changing the human behavior, motivating the drivers. I think we're on the right path, and we should be achieving the goal of reducing 50% accidents, not by 2030, but earlier than that, with these kind of mindset that we have.
Thank you all for joining us and sharing your thoughts on how road safety can be enhanced by the use of technology to enhance awareness, education, as well as enforcement, so that the number of road accidents goes down and we reach our ambitious targets of reducing road accidents and road fatalities in the years to come. Thank you all for joining us.